Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's Conrad Cement Media. Yeah, people. So, we all see what is really actually going on right now. We see the whole altercation with police and stuff like that. I myself, so many incidents, even one this last night. And to be frank, people, we see the Honorable Prime Minister even came out and said that persons are to comply with the request of the police, then we complain after, which is so right. Because, alright guys, can I be honest? So you would have recently seen my video, over 16.5k views now. And that video where I was talking, where I was ambushed right there in Liquorport. Right? Now, to be honest, this year 2026, I have lost count to the amount of time I have actually been stopped by police. In all my life, I have never been so many stopped by police. Ever. In all my years. This 2026 is enough. It's not even when I run taxi, people. I have never been stopped so much time by police. To be frank, as the Honorable Prime Minister would have said, you comply, then you complain after. Which is very much fair enough, right? And even since last night, guys, I was stopped on my way from work. When I was stopped, they asked. When the very tall officer was like, slow down. So when I finally reached them to them, I complete a complete stop. All three approached my driver's side window. And I said to them, well, matter of fact, I said, good morning to you both, to you all. And they were like, good morning. Because it was in the morning, coming from work, going at the 1, 2 o'clock there about. And he said to me, kind of work you do? I said, I'm a security guard. There was a gentleman in the car as well. They asked him what kind of work he do. He told them. And they said, okay, you may proceed. So guess what? We comply. So I am here now to can actually complain. Fair enough, right? Back in I know if you guys remember back in when we have COVID going on, when there was a lot of curfew going on and stuff like that. One morning when I was coming home from work, when they have the police, when they write out a Greenwood there, so there were 2 soldiers, one on both sides with the barrier. You have to go through the barrier, right? When I approach out to Wilshire there. And when I approached there, I was stopped by the 2 soldiers. They looked into the car and they said that I could proceed. But as I drove off, I was stopped by another officer, which was also standing there. He was in a brown suit. And he said to me, I didn't tell you to drive off. And I turned to him and said, the next 2 soldiers said that I could go. And he said, well, pull over. I said, no problem. Right? So I pull over. And I pull over. He said, good morning. I said, good morning. He walked around the car and he told me to come out of the car. I complied and I came out of the car. For me, coming out of the car, he said, let's check the car together. I said, no problem. He looked inside my driver's side. He looks on my headlight. He walks to the back of the car. Then he said, all right, let's go back to the front of the car. He said, turn off. He said, turn off the light. When I turned off the lights, he said, turn them back on. When I turned it back on, he said, put it on the dim. I put it on the dim. And he said, put it on bright. I put it on the bright. He said, alright. He said, let's go to the back of the car. We go to the back of the car. He said, press the brake. We press the brake. And come back to the back of the car. He said to me, do you have a spare? I said, yes, I have a spare. He said, open the trunk, let me see the spare. I opened the trunk and I showed him the spare. He went down and he feel the spear for himself, thumpy, to ensure say, he actually have ear. I laugh. He looked up at me because, It's the first I've actually had a police officer actually checking my spear and actually even feeling to the ensure say, yeah, it has air in it. Fair enough. Alright, he stepped back to the back passenger seat and he said, open the door. I said, it's okay, officer, you can go ahead and open it. I have nothing inside the hiding. He said, no, it's okay, I can go ahead and open it. I open it. He look inside. He said, okay. He called me back to the back of the car. And he said, look here. And I look, he said, do you notice that your license plate light is out? I said, I never know that, an officer. He turned to me and said, that's a $2,500 ticket. And I said, really? He said, yes. I said to him, officer, I didn't know that it was out, so guess what? First thing in the morning, I'm going to deal with it. Because I really honestly didn't know. And he said, okay. And he sent me on my way. You know, about 2 weeks ago, before the incident that I was actually ambushed, I was stopped also in Greenwood again. And here how this one goes. This one I was coming a bit hard, right? And the light was an amber right there at Greenwood, for those who know Greenwood. Right there, the light was an amber. So I wanted to beat it before it comes to the red light. But when I look over to the Greenwood side where we would find the plaza, there was a police van over there. His light was on. And when I go so boom and realize I see it, I stop. So my front wheel just barely go over the white line that was right there. Two other vehicles was behind me. The first one, zoom, fly through the red light. The second one, boom, and went through. The officer activated his alarm, woo, 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 and he run. But guess what? They only catch the person that was driving the second vehicle that actually went through, and they stopped him. I wait there at the red light. When I drove off now, when it was finally green, and I reach up to where he stopped the first person, they pulled me over. They pulled me over. One of the officers came to me and said, come out of the vehicle. I complied and I came out. When he take me to the back of the vehicle, the other officer was dealing with that person that run the red light. And I was instructing him that he run the red light. He had a young baby. That young baby wasn't in a car seat, and that they were gonna charge him. I'm like, okay. Me and the other hand now, after he stepped away from that person now, and he came to me, and he said to me, do you know it's because of my behavior why the other two persons run the red light? I was like, what, really? Him say yes. He says because of me why I was driving like that, why the other persons chose to run the red light. And I said, officer, you cannot blame me for some persons mistakes. And he said that he was gonna give me a $15,000 ticket, and I said, for what reason? I didn't go through the red light. But him say, yes, your tire go over the white line. And I laughed. And you know, I didn't argue and I didn't fuss. And I said, officer, alright then. Don't want to make matters worse, because he was evident that he's gonna give me a $15,000 ticket. And I simply just calmed down and I explained the situation, and boom. And I said, alright, officer, guess what? My mistake, you won't happen again. And he actually coincided with me, and alright then, right there, and he asked me what kind of work I did, and I tell him, and then boom, he said, alright then. Since you're so calm and very respectable, I'll let you off this once. And he actually let me go and say, alright then, go on your way. And he said, next time, Mr. Stimmit, nobody be driving so rationally and coming towards stoplight like that. And I said, thank you, officers, thank you so much. You know, so guys, to be honest, comply, they will complain. I start to, you see, after all of this, even with my ambush situation, I tell myself, try to survive every altercation with a police officer. Try to survive, nothing more. Come out alive, then I can come and complain after. Because at the end of the day, guys, life is very precious. And they are humans too. So guess what? Comply, then we complain after. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah.
Listen it.